Hi, it's Bert here. Welcome to Getting Started with Roadbook Navigation. In this video, we're going to cover off the basic anatomy of a roadbook and start to get into the nitty-gritty of what we're actually doing when it comes down to the layout and really getting into the basic format of all roadbooks. So when we do our roadbooks, they're always on the same format. The format is an FIM roadbook. So anywhere in the world you go, you come across the same roadbook. So this is a very, very standard roadbook. So it doesn't matter if you're doing an event in the UK, if you're doing it in Portugal, if you're doing it in Spain or Morocco, they will all use the same format of roadbook and the same modus operandi for actually completing the course and following the instructions. So in this roadbook, we'll start off at the top. We have the header, the title of the roadbook. We have on the left hand side the kilometers, the total length of the roadbook. Then we have the number of waypoints, the number of boxes in the roadbook, and we'll cover that off in a minute. You have a complete fuel range for various sections of the course, so you know exactly how much fuel you're going to have to carry. You also have a box which will give you instructions for the whole sort of roadbook that will take place. So this will be basically covering off, the roadbook is in kilometers, any road instructions, any high rules of the road will supersede the rules of the roadbook, and everything is in kilometers per hour, and there's a course speed limit on this one of 110 kilometers an hour, which is 70 miles an hour. That's in your general sort of notes box at the head of the roadbook. You'll have your start location and you'll have your finish location. And just to cover everything off, there's the ubiquitous warning that following the route may be dangerous and do this at your own risk. That's really the header of the roadbook, and that'll be the same format every time, and then you get into the roadbook itself. So a roadbook is split into three columns basically. In the left hand column you have this number up here, which is your trip, and that is probably the most important part of that at the moment. That is the distance you will cover on the ground. The trip will be aligned with an instruction which typically sits in the middle box. The instruction can be directional, can be what's surrounding you, and the diagram should represent what you see from that point on the ground. So that's a very specific sort of instruction, and it forms the basics of the roadbook. The central column is also known as the tulip, and if you look at them, some of them resemble tulips, some of them don't. But the tulip term comes from, some people say it's because of the way the symbol looks. It's not actually because of the way the symbol looks, it's because the first time this type of navigation was done in the Tulpen Rally in Holland in the 1950s, and they used this sort of diagrammatic system of showing you which direction to go to junction, etc. In the third column you have just general instructions and notes and speed zones. Okay, when we're looking at the tulip in the center column, you're always coming in from 6 o'clock. So you're coming up from the bottom of the page into the junction at 6 o'clock. Then when you get to the junction, the diagram should represent what you see, from where you are, your current road position or your track position. The little fleck you can see going off at a kind of angle is the exact position that the mileage is taken from. So if it's a T-junction and the fleck is on the T-junction, you know it's where the two roads join is where your trip should be reading the same as the roadbook. If it's not, you need to adjust it. So it's a little bit of a kind of golden rule for roadbook navigating. You're always coming in from 6 o'clock on your diagram. The start of the roadbook is always at 00 point. The organizer has a responsibility to get you to the 00 point correctly. So normally the 00 point will be marked by either a specific start point, a flag in the ground, or at most of our events it's kind of like an air arch, but the organizer will tell you the 00 point where you start from, so you're not left guessing as to the start point, and you can start the roadbook from the correct place. The three boxes on a line represent a waypoint, and the waypoints are numbered by this white number in a black box. So we will reference things that, are you at box number 1, number 2, number 346? This represents the waypoint box. The small digits here represent the integer to the next box. So this box is 0.4 away from that box. It's not really used when you start going, but we might use it in racing, or we might use it when we're marking up road books and talking about things later on. The key points of this anatomy here are the tulip diagram in the middle column and your trip. It's a running trip, so it starts from when you leave and then it just keeps going for the rest of the day until we tell you to reset it. So those are the two key points, the trip and your tulip diagram. So that's the basics of roadbook anatomy covered off. There's a lot more involved, and that's coming at us thick and fast now. And in the next video, we'll cover off symbols, what symbols mean, the common symbols we use, and what instructions are used in the roadbook. And that's all coming in video 3. So see you in the next video. Being real bad.